Welcome back to another Toolsday video, and today I thought we would talk about a tool that a lot of people might consider to be a shop woodworking tool, but we've been using it out on the job site and I think it's awesome, so I want to share it with you guys. Let's get into it. So what we're going to talk about today is the Bosch planer. This is a 12-volt power planer. They sent this to me, and to be honest, when they did, I thought, are you kidding me? I'm never going to use this 12-volt power planer on the job site, yet I have, and that is why I'm talking to you about it now. I get tools all the time, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you. That doesn't mean I'm going to talk about them and share them with you guys. I like to choose the tools that I genuinely use on site, so that you guys might learn something and find a good use for yourself personally. So what is this tool? The power planer, it's 12 volt. It can remove about 0.04 inches of material. If you want, has a max button here that will increase that to 0.08. I don't recommend that after using it, but I don't even know what the metric is because I know a lot of you guys are metric. The US is behind on that, but I'll go ahead and put that down here. They say that you can remove up to 33 linear foot of material at the 0.04 inches. I can't exactly say that I've ever measured how much material I've used, but it usually does what I need to on site at any given time with one battery. So you're able to do about 2.2 inches at a time. Typically, I'm just taking it over the top of a 2x4, which is no issue at 1.5 inches. You know, other than that, you've got some cool features like a spare blade that sticks here in the back. You've got an adjustable chute here where the material is going, so you can either, if you're working this way, you can let it shoot to the left, or you can take this out, slide it over here to the right, and have it shoot this way, or there is a chip bag that hooks up and collects everything. But honestly, that is what is so cool about this tool, is I love watching those chips fly out. Obviously, you're gonna make sure you're wearing your eye protection, right? But what I really like about this tool is how small it is. At 3 pounds, it doesn't weigh anything, and it will fit like right in my tool bags when I'm on site. So let's get back to what I use this tool for on site. And I'll be honest, post-frame construction has this like kind of aura around it where people think it's all rough framing, nothing needs to be that perfect. You just kind of put it together, and usually if it's within a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, whatever that is, it's good enough. I would agree that to some standard that is true, but I like to use this tool when I get to where I know those finishing details will go together so much nicer, so much cleaner and easier for me if I just take a little bit extra time and make sure that all my material is trued up and planed in. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put together a little bit of a demo as to what I encounter on site and what I use this for specifically, and maybe that'll make more sense as to why a post framer or a framer in general would want to have one of these cool tools just handy. So what we've got here is kind of like a representation or kind of an example of what I deal with on site. And that is, we build all of our buildings with 3-ply columns and they're laminated. So what we get sometimes is, you can see, we get 3 pieces of lumber that aren't always perfectly true to each other. Most of the time that really doesn't matter, but when I come to a point where I'm gonna have either a transition piece of trim, a window that's going to be trimmed out, or a door, I know that if I make these all the actual dimension I want and make it consistent, that I'm gonna have a lot better chance at putting in my window jambs, my trims, and making everything look perfect. So what I would typically do is take a circular saw, and you know, if you take a saw, you can kind of set the blade, and you could rip this off from this side, and then you can spin it over, and then you could do the other side and get that clean. But the problem is I'm not dealing with something small. We're dealing with maybe a potentially 24-foot post or whatever it may be. So what's nice is once I find that point on the job site where I know something's gonna run through, that's where a planer comes into place. And let's just go ahead and do it, because I love making the chips, and I'll show you how easy it is to plane down this like it's perfect. I mean, it's really easy. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out. Now we'll let it go that way. I'll send the shavings that way, and I'm gonna basically go not to the max. We'll get there, so I'll show you how it sounds and how it does when it's all the way on the max, but this is kind of where it's optimized at the 0.04 inches. This is very excessive. Never is my lumber a stinking 1/4 inch or better. This is probably more like 3/8 off. But that's at 0.04. You can see I'm getting really close. I don't know how many passes I took, probably like 15. And it looks like I probably need to do just a couple more. So there you go. What this kind of simulates is I don't really care if my lumber is not true throughout the entire post. I just want to make sure that where I'm gonna have maybe a horizontal girt running across perpendicular to my post, that this section right here is smooth. That way everything can stay in a plane. So, you know, if you're a framer, there's gonna be those times out on the job site where something just doesn't line up, and yeah, you could hack it, you could take a sawzall out, you could do all that stuff, and that's perfectly fine. Like, that's perfectly doable. It works. Guys have been doing it forever. This is really cool just because it does a very fine job. You can precisely control how much you're taking off. You don't have to just hack at it. You know, that's just on the job site. Like if you're a woodworker, you already know how valuable a plane is if you're out making furniture. Yeah, you can get the old hand planes and just do it by hand, and that's very therapeutic and cool. Me, I'm a power tool guy. If there's something that I can plug a battery into, not a cord, a battery, and it's gonna make my job easier, that's what I'm after. And so this tool is it's just fun, right? It's not for everybody. I'm definitely not trying to sell this as anything more than it's not. It's a 12-volt tool that if you are already in the Bosch 12-volt line, it's gonna be great for just really having it around. And whenever you buy one of these tools, it seems to me that you start finding uses for it that you thought, why would I ever have done that before? And that's kind of where I was at, because when Bosch sent this to me, I'm like, I'm not probably ever gonna use that tool specifically. And now it's just like, hey, what can I plane? I mean, look at this. Like, this is just, you know, maybe you're in the business of shipping stuff and you want to create your own cool shipping material. No, I'm joking. That's kind of stupid. But let's go ahead and run this on full max so you can kind of hear what it does cutting or, you know, making shavings. So this is double the dimension of what we just did. Okay, now no doubt you can hear that motor struggling. It is clearly going like full bore trying to make that happen. But look at that. I just did in what, like 4 passes? What it took me, you know, a long time to do kind of on that optimized depth. And you can clearly see the difference in the shavings as to how much material that was removing. And I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty impressive, man. Battery powered tools, this is just a 12 volt. I know there's some 18 volt options out there, but they're bigger, they're heavier, and you just, you know, fits in your tool pouch. It's easy to just carry around. Maybe you gotta, you know, climb up in a roof truss system somewhere and plane some plywood down. I don't know. That's where I guess you guys can let me know if you think this is a handy tool. Is it a gimmicky tool? At 179 bucks, it's not something that you just go and blow your money on. I think you got to have a use in mind as to what you're going to use this for. And I'd love to hear what you guys would use this for, because maybe I'm missing something and I kind of like to use it, so I want to keep using it. Definitely make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button so you can watch the weekly tools days, the build series videos that I enjoy putting out. And if there's some tool that you guys want to have me talk about, I'll definitely do my best to make that happen so we can keep this tools day going. And until next week, we'll see you guys later. Have a good week. That sounded like a great idea, but maybe not. What do you think?